Everyone says you have to get ready to learn the latest and greatest techniques in order to stay competitive and relevant, so that our patients can receive the best care possible. And of course, they're right. But what they don't tell you is that you also have to be ready to transition through the various phases of growth while undertaking this journey. It's important for a couple of reasons. First, the patient base we're serving isn't the same patient base our predecessors served decades ago. Our patients are living longer. They're more selective on the kind of treatment they receive. They want the best treatment option available, and they want it now. For example, a century ago, people aged 65 years and older made up only 5% of the North American population. By the 1950s, this number grew to 17%. By 2050, over 22% of the population will be seniors. And with them comes a tsunami of demand for dental implants and successful outcomes. These folks are expecting to retire well, with the ability to eat, smile, socialize, dance, and maintain their good quality of life. This demographic also has the disposable income to back them up so that they can pursue their desired lifestyle. Secondly, it's important that the very fabric of dentistry is changing right before our very eyes. There are currently 225,000 dentists in the United States and Canada alone. Of this 250,000 dentists, 18 to 20% of them are actively placing implants. Now, this 18 to 20% of the profession placed 2.2 million implants last year. And here's an interesting fact. Most of them are general dentists. In fact, the number of general dentists learning to perform and offer dental implant treatment surpasses those of specialists, and the number is growing each year, growing fast. So, it's important that we, as an ever-evolving clinician, be aware of the fact that we are going to experience significant phases for each of us as we walk through this journey. And with each phase, the challenges that come with it. I belong to a teaching group here at Bites Institute. We meet up weekly, often several times a week, to go over the latest and greatest trends in the dental implant world. We filter through what works and what doesn't. Our purpose is to equip and grow keen doctors we meet with practical skills and approaches to best serve their patient. Over the decades, we've seen many doctors walk through our halls, each with their own unique story, but each experiencing the same 4 phases for themselves. I would describe the walk through these phases as quite typical. Phase 1, the dating phase. This is a great phase. I remember it well. As I got started on my implant journey, I asked myself, how do I squeeze the juice out of my implant learning journey? You may recall, brimming with excitement, the prospect of placing your very first implant. Ooh! Like a fresh sponge, eager to soak up every drop of knowledge, your heart beats faster and faster as you wrestle to grasp the fundamental practices like a thorough medical review, a clinical exam, a thorough CBCT analysis, treatment planning, learning the surgical protocols and principles, trying to sort out which bits of information are critical and which are not. Just like a typical dating phase of a relationship, you relish the experience of laying your first flap, drilling your first osteotomy, placing your first implant, and tying up your first surgical site. It's so much like your first kiss. All that while being blissful, or rather ignorant, of the potential problems and pitfalls that lay just around the corner. Doesn't matter. It feels great, and you want more of it. More cases, more flaps, more drilling, more implants. This stuff's great. You feel like you're at the top of the world. You love the idea of doing implants. Your patients love you. Heck, you love you. And so we embark onto the next phase, dance moves. Like a young, hormone-fueled teenager who's just landed his first kiss, you want more, so much more. Your excitement for implants is now boiling over. It occupies your every thought and heartbeat. You tell yourself, let's soak up. No, let's master every procedure and protocol out there. You sign up for every course that crosses your Instagram feed. Cadaver courses, block grafts, sinus lifts, gum grafts, PRFs, ridge splits, all on fours. Every course imaginable. The world is your playground. Your mantra is, fill me up with knowledge and wisdom. More, more, more. And that's when you realize that our brain's about to explode. The information input is so much that it saturates our brain's ability to digest it. Sure, it's exciting, intriguing, experiential, all rolled up into one. We buy every kit, armamentarium, and gizmo offered at these courses. Oh man, the high! And as we go back to our offices, we dive right into our patient pool, looking for every opportunity to unpack and practice our newfound skills. Why? To save the day, of course, to be the hero for our patients. Just like dating and dancing, just because we've learned some new dance moves doesn't mean we're gonna look sexy out there on the dance floor. Sure, in our head, we've got the idea that we're the sexiest dude in the club, right? But from the outside perspective, things look rather different. We think we're channeling Ryan Gosling's sexy dance moves, but to others, we're Mr. Bean flailing his arms around on the dance floor doing his routine. Phase 3, disappointment and dismay. Just like relationships, our first successful date and first smooch typically ignites fireworks and ecstasy for everyone involved. But just like relationships, they don't last forever. We believe that we're going to walk through life with perpetual wins and successes, but that's not true. As soon as we put our newfound skills into action, we are soon met with reality. And reality sucks. Those glitzy dance moves like special harvesting techniques, the use of newfangled sinus lift gizmos, and fancy surgery block grafts, splits, screws, and tacks don't always go so well. On the contrary, some are just train wrecks. You see, nobody prepared us for this phase of the journey. No one told us about the failed cases, angry patients, and sleepless nights that await us. No one. This is the chapter where we get humbled. The issue to this tragedy can actually be traced back to chapter 1, the dating phase. We got swept up with the thrill of our first date with implantology, the thrill of the first smooch, and all that. Although we learned many bits of information during the dance moves phase, they didn't all stay in our brain. There's just too much information to process. It wasn't that our mentors failed to share the wisdom. Rather, it was our ability to filter and sort through that information. We simply couldn't recognize which bits of information are important and which are not. And there's the rub. How are we supposed to recognize that we don't know what we're supposed to know? It's a disastrous journey. We experience soft tissue dehiscence, exposed bone grafts, graft exposure, the smell of death, implant failures, aesthetic nightmares, spreading infection, ONJ, profound pain, and I don't mean ours, and loss of confidence. This phase of the journey sucks. It becomes a reality for any dentist who sticks around long enough. We get a healthy dose of reality and we struggle. This struggle lies somewhere between wanting to throw in the towel and never touch an implant again, and I'm going to pick myself up, learn from this crap, and become better. If you choose the latter, the failures will haunt you. The haunting is traumatic. It forces you to stare at your blundered mess-ups. It beats you up, crushes your ego, crushes your soul, and throws cold water on your dreams. But it also challenges you to be better. Not in a life is also rosy kind of way, but in a I'm going to struggle and slug through this to learn implantology thing kind of way, even if it kills me. And potentially, you can emerge from the other side, beaten, with wounds and scars, but emerge as a better clinician for your patients and for you. I thought I had a pretty good idea of what a successful implantologist looked like. I was wrong. It isn't about accepting and taking on every case that comes your way. Instead, it's about recognizing your own blind spots and limits. It's about focusing on what is clinically realistic and on what's clinically best for the patient. Having been beaten up many times before, I would sheepishly turn to my mentors and ask, how did you squeeze all the juice out of your implant journey? To my surprise, they all said, it's never a smooth ride. Rather, it's a roller coaster ride, full of bliss, full of self-deception, full of disappointment, full of throwing up, and phase 4, discernment. Discernment is the most gratifying and satisfying of these 4 phases. Don't get me wrong. It isn't all rainbows and sunshine in this phase. You still encounter cases that stretch you mentally and clinically. But you learn to sidestep cases that are beyond your skill set, for now, and avoid train wrecks before they happen. You end up appreciating the nuances of each surgery. You celebrate the gains and successes you make when a challenging case goes well. All the while, you are still growing and evolving as a clinician. Your learning journey takes on a whole new cadence. It doesn't mean that all fear and anxiety are exiled or abolished. Rather, it means that when you wrestle with a healthy dose of anxiety and apprehension when you choose to take on a challenging case, a case that you can manage. In phase 4, your discernment allows you to still do things you love and do it well most of the time. Mind you, there's still the possibility of slipping back into phase 3 every now and then, where you feel like you've been hit by a bus. That's not a happy prospect. But not everyone breaks through to phase 4. But for those who have, some of the most satisfied clinicians I have met have done that. Phase 4 is an opportunity to rekindle your purpose and passion as a doctor. It involves answering some tough questions too, like, how far do I go with my learning? What's my comfort level? How can I squeeze all the juice out of this implant journey? You see, it's important that we engage in activities that are meaningful to us, activities that give us a sense of accomplishment. In my experience, it almost always involves serving others. Maybe it's mentoring the next generation of clinicians, passing on what we value and know to them. Maybe it's offering your services to folks who otherwise could not afford them. Maybe, like me, and it looks like an old fart, sharing his journey with those who care to listen. Do you remember the conundrum I highlighted in phase 3? Where we ask, how is a clinician supposed to recognize that they don't know something that they're supposed to know? Well, you can be that person who guides that clinician through their dark chapter. You can be giving, transformative, and life-changing. So, I urge you, for those of you in phase 1, enjoy your dates. Be prepared to learn as many dance moves as you can in Phase 2. Redeem as much as you can in Phase 3. And squeeze out all the juice out of your implant journey in Phase 4 by embracing your life lessons and sharing them with others.